What's going on, guys? Ryan here, and today we're going to be doing some stuff on the laundry room renovation, and more specifically, we're going to be working with the water heater and the main water supply lines. I'm going to be doing this a little backwards and kind of just not how I would like to. But yesterday, and actually a couple days ago, I started working on the supply lines for the bathroom and the laundry room for the washer. And I had it set up in a way that the next thing I was going to do was finish the bathroom supply lines and hook it up to the main line. And then, long story short, I figured out that there's going to be a lot more work to this than just hooking it up. Because over here, the supply lines aren't like really done, I wouldn't say correctly, they're just pipes straight out of the ground from inside the wall and comes out at a 90 degree, and that's it. Like, there's no fittings to make it look pretty. There's no, like, it's not strapped or anything. And there's some old pipes and just old blocking that's cut out, and then a lot of obviously mold in the drywall, and then old supply lines from the washer, and even a drain line and some electrical that I need to move around. Not only that, but I need to replace the subfloor there because it's actually really warped, and the water heater right now is leaned back a little bit, like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Yesterday, I had drained the water heater and took it off, and I realized how bad like the wiring was, like the actual like ends of the wire and the wire nuts were just terrible. So when I went to Home Depot to get a lot of supplies to do the rest of it, passed by water heaters, and not the cheapest one possible, but the cheapest one for 50 gallons for electric was about $700. And I thought, I have some space on my Home Depot credit card. I have a coupon that gives me 12 months financing. So why don't I just go ahead and buy all this and buy the water heater and then come home and I can replace this. Because this water heater was manufactured in 2005. That's almost 20 years. This water heater is almost 20 years old. And if you didn't know, water heaters only really, you should be changing them from 6 to 12, kind of depending on your situation. Now, since we bought this house a couple years ago, I don't know when they actually put this water heater in. I don't know if it was here since 2005, but what I do know is that it is time to change it. Because when we first moved in, I did take a look at the bottom of it, and I believe there was a little bit of rust, and I think it's just on the outside. And it's literally just sitting on the subfloor or the flooring at the time. There was no pan, there's no straps, all the pipes are just all willy-nilly. And even this copper pipe right here, there's some bits where it looks like it's kind of worn and it might burst. And I don't want any of that to happen. And I also don't like how I could turn off the cold water right here, but the valve is past the cold water supply for the rest of the house. So if I turn this off, the house will still have cold water. I just won't have water going into the heater. I would like to set it up correctly, but not only that, I would like to add a water filter. Now, I got just a plain Jane whole house GE water filter that's basically just for sediment and nothing else really. And this wasn't too expensive. I think the whole thing was probably $75, $100. I do kind of want to eventually maybe have like a whole house water filter that's for like all the other things, for maybe lead or like taste and a few other things. Like, I don't know what they're actually for, but a couple different types of water filters that I was looking at. But I was like, you know what? I'm not going to spend hundreds of dollars right now when I don't even know what like my water is. Like, I don't know how good it is or how bad. I do know that we have a shared well, and I'm assuming that they probably have it on a filter, on some sort of filtering system. I would hope so. But that being said, I would like to have some sort of filter in here just to help out with some sediment, because if they do have a filter and this doesn't have a whole lot of sediment built up, then I think these can last a lot longer than 6 to 12 years. Like I said, this is going on 19 years. Because I think November 2005 was when it was manufactured. So it is going on 19 years, which is absolutely crazy. With all that being said, today we're going to focus on getting the supply lines, this main setup right here redone. I'm gonna replace the subfloor. I'm gonna install the new water heater, which I didn't even show you. It's right here. It's a Ream 50 gallon. The one that we have right now is a GE 65 gallon, and I don't think it's going to be that big of a difference between the two. They're both 4,500 watt. Yeah, this one's not super fancy. It doesn't have Wi-Fi. It doesn't have like a smart water detect like shut off thing. But I did get all the parts for it. I got the straps, I got the pan, and I got a lot of other fittings and dilly-dads for the filter. All of this because if you haven't seen the last video, which I will post right here, it seems like when I start a project, it just keeps expanding, and before I can actually finish the actual thing that I wanted to do, I have to do all the other things first. So originally it was I wanted to do the supply lines for the bathroom, and then I did it for the laundry room, and then I took out the like hoses that I had hooked up to these faucets over here to go to the washer, and then I had it hooked up to I started running the supply lines, and then I realized, oh, I'm gonna have to work on this, and before I worked on this, I wanted to kind of get it situated where I can turn off the water to the bathroom, but the way I have it hooked up is the toilet would be connected to the washer. So long story short, I'm gonna redo some of my work today. I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna get it done. And I'm not going to take all day to do it because today is my birthday, and I would rather not be working all day doing this, and then Ellie comes home and I'm still not done. So I'm going to try to get this all done, and I'm just going to start. All right, I've been out here for a little while now. It's 12:30. I want to take a small break. I got to go to the bathroom, and I'm gonna just get a little tiny something to eat. I'm actually not hungry, but I've been doing a lot. I got a lot done, and it was mainly destruction. So I got this is what it looks like. Got a big hole in the floor. We got hardly any pipes in the walls, nothing else, some blocking, whatever. For some reason, the valve outside to shut off the whole house, it doesn't close all the way, so the water will just keep coming up. So it's been drizzling out ever since I cut off the valve on the inside, cut off all the pipes and stuff. So it's been drizzling, and there's a lot of water, but not a whole, like not enough that I think I need to worry about, but it's just enough that it's like really annoying. So in order to keep that from happening, I got it strung up right here in the spot it needs to be. I have all the fittings all crimped down and the valve here closed, so there is no more dripping water. And then these are for the cold water for the rest of the house and the hot water for the rest of the house, which I will be moving. The hot water is going to be over here where that line is. The cold water actually will probably end up going in this hole or that other hole. I think it's going to be about right there. Because the whole setup is the filter is right here. Like the bracket sits up here and the whole filter is right here, right? It bends back, it goes 90 over here into the filter, out of the filter, and then it comes out and then goes in to a fitting that goes down into the rest of the house, and then over is to the hot water heater, and then the hot water goes out up here and then down. That's going to be the whole thing. Now, I haven't taken this water heater out, mainly because just in case for some reason this one doesn't work when I plug it in and all that, I actually still have a water heater. I just need to hook it back up, and then I can take this one back, because I really don't want to take it outside and either start destroying it or leave it outside when it freezes or gets like extremely dirty or whatever. But like I said a bit ago, I'm going to take a quick break. I've been at it like nonstop. There's a few things I had to wait for, but I didn't sit down and be on my phone at all. And I'm thirsty, and I'm just a tiny bit hungry, and then I'm going to go to the bathroom. It's 3:30. a few things, quick updates. I had to go to our local Ace basically to get two fittings because I didn't realize I needed them until I needed them, which were the 3/4 inch T's, because these pipes going down need to connect to the old, which is going that way, and to the new, which is going that way. I didn't realize I need a T. For some reason, I totally forgot about it. So I ran down and got them, and they're $4 each, which was pretty pricey, but I'm glad I did it because it's hooked up. The other thing is I got this floor put back in, the new subfloor in. And ironically, I only fell once through the opening, and that was because I was trying to like pick this up or adjust it, and I stepped in this hole and I fell right on my butt, and I don't have any cushion on my butt, so it was pretty tough. It doesn't hurt right now, but I can tell you it's going to be sore later. Then, okay, so that's what I did. Next steps. I have to go underneath the house over in this area where, like, in front of the washer, and hook up a T for both the cold and the hot, and then hook it up to the washer. Secondly, I need to add a valve on the other side of those T's, so then I can turn it off, and then I can turn the water on after I have everything hooked up, and then the only thing that will have the water is the washer. Now, earlier I had mentioned that I was going to redo some of the work that I already did yesterday, and that is because I don't like how it looks or functions. I basically want the bathroom to be on its own little, like, I guess, circuit for the water, and then the washer to be on before. I don't know how to explain it well, but basically right now the toilet is hooked up to the water line for the washer, and I don't want that. So then I'll just add a valve, and then I'll change it over here because I realized that my problem that I had isn't really a problem, and I'll double check that when I go down there. So it's 3:30. Ellie gets off in 15 minutes, and it takes about 30 minutes for her to get home. So I have until around 4:15, 4:30. I have about 45-ish minutes before she gets home. Now, I don't think we're going to leave exactly at 4:15, 4:30. I think we might leave at 5. So I have about 2 hours, an hour and a half actually, to get the rest of this done. And I am almost done. I got the hot water, the cold water, and the inlet, and partially the filter set up. So then that way, all I need to do is put drywall up and then finish out with the pipes going. Yeah, I'm almost done. Almost done to the point where I can put the new water tank over here, hook it all up, plug it in, it'll be good to go. But I need to like hurry it up now because we really do need hot water. And technically speaking, actually, yeah, we need hot water because I'm not going to take a cold shower, like an ice cold shower. I'm not going to do that. So I need to hurry it up. So it's the next day, and last night I didn't get the water heater installed, but I did get the cold water like circuit in the house completed. So we were able to use the toilet, wash our hands, do all that. But I wanted to take a shower before we went to the movies and to dinner, and I took a shower with cold water. I had it aimed at the like shower liner, and I just like would splash myself in my body, and then I would just dunk my head in and stuff. But that sucked, and I don't want to do it again. However, we need hot water because we also need to do laundry, but that's its own issue because I still haven't hooked it up. This, what I'm about to show you, is the water heater hooked up but not turned on. And it's not in the actual final place, mainly one because I'm going to have to disconnect it probably multiple times, or just disconnect it once at least before it's complete, because I need to do the floor. The other thing is this piece right here I still need, so I can't put that over the line or anything, so I could move it over. But one of the things is I have this connector is too long, and I should have gotten the shorter one today when I was at Home Depot. But it's because this sticks out of the wall too far, and this is kind of like being pushed up by like the tension of this. So I really can't, like I can't really adjust it much anymore. So it's kind of like turned and pulled forward more than it would be. So yeah. Um, so hopefully sometime very, very soon I can get that replaced, and then I can kind of push it back. I also need to shorten this conduit, and I just don't know how to do it exactly, and I'd rather just do it when it's kind of in the final position. But I have it all hooked up, wired, ready to go. I'm going to put water in it first so that I know it is full and it can take pressure, and then I will turn it on, and hopefully that should work. Yeah, I'm actually really happy about the plumbing situation, and I'll show you right now. So the water comes in from our shared well right here, and it goes into this filter, which really just does sediment. And I think there's another version of this filter, the actual filter itself, that does some chlorine odor and taste. So I might get that one, even though we don't have that issue. But this is just sediment, really. And so it comes in here, goes through the filter, comes out, and then it splits out to the rest of the house for cold water, and then up into the water heater, and then out of the water heater to the hot water to the rest of the house. And then the power comes into a junction box right here. It's all wired up and grounded. Comes in here, is grounded and wired up and ready to go. And we've already been using this. We already did like a rinse cycle and everything. Then I just have to turn this on, and it should start filling up. All right, let's turn her on. Okay, I'm actually gonna go and turn on the hot water so then this doesn't build up too much pressure while it's filling up. And I have been checking the connections right when we turned it on yesterday, and once we got back, and then I haven't checked them this morning, but I'm going to check after this, the hot water actually runs through, which actually is still blocked. So I'm going to open this. So that'll allow all the pressure that's building up, instead of being like pushed out right here, it'll go through this pipe, and then it'll come to this valve, and it goes out to the rest of the house. But so far it sounds like just water, but I am going to lift this up and check underneath of it right now. All right, I got it done. What had happened was there was a couple leaks I found. One was the hot water line connection behind the drywall, which of course it is. I just took a pair of vice grips and I gripped this and I just twisted it until there was no more water leaking out. And luckily I was like, it's not a like full dry closed in wall, because then I would have never known. And I mean, the whole problem about this is like, there really isn't a way for me to connect all this to test it beforehand. It's really just like I have to do it all unless I want to redo it. But then at that point, I have to test it again. But anyways, one of the issues that I'm having is that this braided line at one of these ends right here was dripping, and I tightened it, and it stopped, but then it started to drip out of this red, I don't know, this plastic piece, and it wouldn't stop. So I just went to the shop and grabbed the old line, which is this weird copper one, which is kinked really bad. And I think I'm going to get a replacement tomorrow, so I can just have it, like, I don't have to worry about it. It's just all going to be braided. Brand new. And the old one also had one of these. It wasn't new, and I wasn't gonna reuse it because there was some corrosion on it. I tried to undo it because I was gonna use it instead of this one because I knew I didn't want to use the copper one. And it wouldn't come apart. It was like just rusted together, and I was like, I'm not gonna deal with that. So I just went ahead with that copper one, and it seems to work fine. I double checked the pipes down below. Nothing's leaking, and I had turned on the water heater. That's where the lights are blinking, and I set it to the temperature. And now I just wait. I wait until the water gets hot, and then now we have hot water. Okay, I think this will be it for today's video. There isn't much left for me to do with the water heater segment, aka this video, because it was supposed to be a part of a different video, but it turns out it deserves its own. So I'm done. It's been working just fine. I've taken a shower, a warm, nice, hot shower last night, which I'm so thankful for. And today, I think I'm gonna go ahead and finish up some of the, the supply lines for the rest of the stuff. The sink, the shower, the toilet, and the washer. Now, I have a little bit of work to do in here before I can do any of that because I need to organize and kind of clean up in here. It's a complete and utter mess. And the filter and water heater is all done. All that is working. No leaks whatsoever. And I am so happy about that. So before I end this video, I actually would like to show you what is inside of this old water heater. I want to open it up because I want to see how long I may have had before it started leaking, or if there was any rust buildup, or how much sediment's in it, and to maybe even show you what a water heater will look like inside. And actually, there is a rod inside of water heaters that is basically like a sacrificial rod. It basically is used in order for to be eaten away before the tank does, and you replace that every so often. And I thought about doing it, but because this is almost 20 years old, I thought there's no point. I might as well get a new one. And by the way, if you think about buying a new one versus keeping your old one until it breaks, I would actually recommend replacing it anyways, because the new ones are a little bit more efficient. And realistically, even if you look at the energy guide on the side of water heaters, yours might say this will take about $425 a year, and this one's going to say $494. But that's because this one has old amounts on it. The per kilowatt hour is like 8 cents, and on this one it's about 14. So this is actually more efficient and less costly to run per year than this one. So over the course of its life, we'll more than pay for the difference, or even pay for the actual water heater. So it's beneficial to replace it before it leaks, especially if it's about time for it to be replaced. With that being said, let's get in the shop and open this thing up. All right, we're in the shop now. I got it sitting right there. I'm going to try to take off the top portion. I don't know if I want to cut through all of it. If I can also just take off the top. I think I could take off the bottom too, but it looks a little rusty. So I'm going to go ahead and try it. We'll see how it works. Brand new, old. I just want to show you real quick that the bottom looks like that. It doesn't look that bad, but this should be here. All right, this is the aftermath. Took 2 of those blades and 1 of those blades and 2 of those blades. So I used a jigsaw, a reciprocating saw, and an angle grinder, and I did most of the work with that, the angle grinder and the reciprocating saw. And let me tell you, it actually looks fairly good. Now this bottom part, I don't know if that's like rust or something, but there is a little bit of like breakdown right there on the outside. However, the inside looks very good actually. Now this little string and this part down here, that is the sacrificial rod. I'm not quite sure what the legit name of it is, but that is what that is. And it looks almost completely gone. Now the other thing about it is that is touching water. That is touching water that we drink, we bathe, we wash our clothes with, and our dishes. And it's pretty gross to think about, but that is the thing that you replace. And all you really need to do, there's like a plastic piece covering it on top of this like metal lid. You take that off and you kind of cut some of the foam. I think you don't necessarily need a special like piece, like a wrench or a socket for it, but you can get a tool just to undo it, take it out, replace the rod, put it back, and that replaces this this string. And this is just plastic. That's the inlet for the water, and then the cold water gets pushed down to the bottom, and the hot water gets pushed to the top and to this, which is the out. This is the hot side. This is the out port. And that's it. It honestly doesn't look too bad, but there was some rust from the bottom of the actual like piece, like that piece. But in reality, this probably, if I replaced the rod and then maybe the heating elements, it probably would have had another 5 years at least. Now that's just my unprofessional opinion. I don't know how long it would have lasted if I replaced the rod and the heating elements. All I know is I'm still glad I replaced it, because at the end of the day, it is a little bit about efficiency. I have a new one that is more efficient than this one, right? So it doesn't need to run as much as this one. I'm actually surprised about how little sediment is in the bottom. And I think some of that is from me cutting, some of that's from the rod, and some of that, I mean, I technically just flushed it twice in the last week, so it's pretty clean. The first time I did it when we first moved in, there was discoloration and not a whole lot of sediment, but quite a bit. Not as much as I thought there would be, but there was still quite a bit. Yeah, I would still recommend replacing it. I'm still glad, like I said, to replace mine. And hopefully that one lasts at least 10 years because I don't really want to do this again. I wouldn't have to break through it. Actually, I would want to, just to see where the state of it is. And actually, I realized that there's, I think, a way to check the inside of it without tearing it apart like this. And I think if you take the rod out and you take the temperature pressure like valve, I think it's called the TPV, something. It deals with the temperature and the pressure that's inside. And you take this, unscrew it, it actually, you can see right through it. And you could probably do the same with the rod. You take that out after you drain it, and then you probably should just do like a rinsing, like a good flush. And then you take these out, and then you shine a light through this one or the other one, and then you look through the other hole, and you can kind of see what it looks like, to see if it's up like it's fine. Obviously, you don't get to see everything. You don't get to see the very bottom of the outside and maybe even the top portion. However, you get to see quite a bit, and maybe you can even get one of those very like long, skinny cameras that you can point in there and then turn it around and then look at other places. And you could probably even go all the way down as long as the water isn't in there and it's not hot. But with that being said, I think that is it for today's video. I'm really happy I replaced it. It kind of sucks that I didn't necessarily need to. However, I am going to do some calculations on how much money we are technically saving and how long it would take for the new one to like recoup that cost from just it being used versus the old one. But anyways, that will be it for today's video. If you liked it, be sure to smack like button as hard as you can. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and turn on post notifications, and I'll see you guys all next time.